All right, so remember that the cue, Mr. Stewart, is after the video because we are looping on of the student services video. Because remember, we will be streaming on YouTube as well. So once you are through, then indication, hand over to our moderator, Mrs. Williams Pinnock, and Mrs. Williams Pinnock will then take it from there. Understood?
To activate your Arion account, visit arion.themico.edu.jm. You will need your student ID number provided in your letter of acceptance. Click on the account activation link and complete the form by entering the requested information. After completing the form, click on the blue Activate button. Please remember the password you create during this process, as it will be the password you use to log into the Arion. Once activated, log in with your ID number and your password. You are now on the Arion homepage. On the left side of the page, you'll find your name, student ID number, and your generated Mico email address. This email address will be the primary means of communication between you and the Mico. Take a moment and send an email from your personal address requesting the activation of your Mico email. Be sure to include your full name, student ID number, and the email address listed on the homepage. Send it to helpdesk@themico.edu.jm. The homepage also includes a progress tracker for your degree and your GPA. To choose your courses, select Academics. From the registration category, select Register for Classes. Under the open registration period, there are several program levels. For this tutorial, we'll be selecting courses from the Student Timetable Undergrad Main Campus. Click Begin Continue Registration. On the course selection page, you can search for a course by typing a part of the course name or the course code. For example, if you are looking for Foundations of Language, you can type FOUN into the search field and click the search button to see the matching results. The number shown under the seats column indicates how many seats are still available for that course. To reserve a seat, simply click Reserve next to the chosen course. You will see a confirmation message indicating that your course has been successfully added. All your reserved courses will be listed in the Selected Course section of the page. Now, let's add another course. This time using the course code, Intro to Psychology. Enter PPSY1101 into the search field and click Search. Select Reserve to secure a seat in the class. Click the Continue to Next Step button to go to steps 2 and 3. At step 3, you're now required to apply for financial clearance using the link available on our webpage. After you make and submit your payment to Student Finance, you will receive a confirmation email from them regarding your status. Once your payment is approved, you can move on to step 4. If you have not yet completed your registration, do this to remove a course. Select Academics. From the registration category, select Register for Classes. Select your program level from the open registration period. Click Begin Continue Registration. Select Step 1. A message indicating if you are navigating to a previously completed step will appear. Select Yes to continue. All reserved courses will appear under the Selected Courses section of the page. To delete a course, simply click Remove. A confirmation dialog will appear verifying your request. Select OK. Your course has been successfully removed.
Hi, do you have any queries? Need assistance? We have you covered here at the Student Services Department of the Mico University College. Visit us for all your queries and student-related matters. Come along.
From health insurance to identification card requests, welfare, support, financial aid, career placement. Our support team is here to assist you every step of the way.
Let's make your college experience smooth and enjoyable. Stop by our office today.
Pleasant evening, everyone, students, and to all members of staff in your respective places and members of the guild that are present this evening for this evening's orientation. As we proceed with this evening, then we will read a scripture and then I'll proceed with prayer. Let's lift our voices where you are and let's sing just two times. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not unto your own understanding, but in all your ways acknowledge Him, and He will direct your path. Trust in the Lord with all of thine heart and lean not on understanding, but in all thy ways acknowledge Him, He shall direct thy path. With all of thine heart and lean on to thine own understanding, but in all thy ways acknowledge Him, and He shall direct thy path. And He shall direct thy path. A reading to us this evening from Proverbs 3, verses 5, 6, and 7. And it reads, Trust in the Lord with all thine heart, and lean not unto thine own understanding. In all that not wise in thine own eyes, fear the Lord, and depart from evil. So I just want to encourage you as you start this new journey as a new student at the Mico University College. Trust in the Lord all your heart, acknowledge Him, and He will direct your path. Let us pray. Father, in the name of the Lord Jesus, we thank you even now, Father, for this opportunity together by this platform in this evening's orientation. Father, hallelujah. As these new students are about to start this journey of college, Father, I pray you be with them, help them, Father, to not lean on their own understanding, but Father, I pray that as they begin this journey, that it will be successful, that Father, everything that they would set out to achieve, they will achieve it, Father, that they will assimilate successfully to the environment here at the Mico University College, Father, and that they will come in and they will be productive and they will achieve greatly. Father, may you bless them with excellence, Father, even now, and may you bless their semester and may it be prosperous, Father, as you will lead and direct them. Amen and amen. I now hand over to this evening's moderator, Mrs. Williams.
Thank you so much, Joel. Good afternoon to our administrators, the deans of the various faculties, our lecturers, administrative personnel, and our students. Indeed, you ought to trust in the Lord. He will direct your path. I am Mrs. Shawnee Williams Spinnock, and I am a lecturer in the Department of Language, Literacy, and Literature. I'm also advisor to the Guild of Students and your moderator for this evening's orientation session. I can't tell you how delighted I am to be among greatness. I must especially welcome our new students. Thank you so much for choosing the Mico University College. I want you to understand that you are attending the oldest teacher training institution in the Western Hemisphere. It is an institution that will be celebrating 190 years in 2026. 190 years of existence, excellence, and enrichment. Indeed, we have enriched the lives of so many Jamaicans through the teachers, the leaders that we have produced. And very soon you will be joining this very distinguished group of professionals. So we want to thank you for choosing the Mico, and we are committed to serving you very well for the next 4 years and beyond. And I say beyond because I know many of you will be returning to do your masters with us, and we will happily welcome you back. I must acknowledge that there must be some anxiety. You must be nervous. You must be wondering, will I really make this through? That is entirely normal. That is entirely understandable. I remember when I left the rustic interiors of Bog Hole in Clarendon, and Bog Hole is a farming community very close to St. Anne, in fact. I was so nervous and I wanted to return home in my safe space with my family and friends and all the people that I was accustomed to. But I was happy to find a family, a community right here at the Mico that supported me. And I'm confident that you will find that family, that community, that close-knit community that will support you on your journey. So do not worry, all right? So we continue with day 4 of our orientation session, and today's session is especially focused on your health, your wellness, and your safety. And so we will get right into things. We trust that you will remain attentive, so you will leave informed, inspired, and ignited for excellence. At this time, I invite Miss Amelia Alexis, our University College Counselor, and she's going to be facilitating the session that focuses on psychological health and wellness. And this is very important. Your health is your wealth. And even more importantly, as you navigate what can be a challenging journey, you need to be well mentally and emotionally. So please welcome Miss Amelia Lexis, our University College Counselor.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon, Ms. Alex.
Good afternoon.
I hope that we all are doing well. This afternoon, I'll be doing a brief presentation on psychological health and wellness. So, health is wealth in its general form. However, the emphasis of this presentation will be on psychological health and wellness. Later in the orientation, one of my colleagues will address physical health in detail. So in this session, we'll be going over a brief introduction to mental health, mental wellness. We'll be talking about self-care, emotional intelligence, and self-advocacy, how they can assist in promoting mental health among our community. According to the World Health Organization, health is a state of complete physical, mental, social well-being, and not merely the absence of a disease or infirmity. This definition of health proposes health as not only being the absence of a disease, but encompassing a wider scope of medical perspectives to health, which will not be addressed in this presentation. Now, most of us are familiar with the term health and mental health, but more scarcely used is the concept of wellness or psychological wellness. Wellness is a conscious, deliberate process that requires that a person becomes aware of and make choices for a more satisfying life. Psychological health is wealth. Now, we all know that there's a certain stigma that is associated with persons who are exposed to mental illness in Jamaica knowingly. In general, many of these persons are frowned upon and they are discriminated against in various contexts. Mental health is a state of mental well-being that enables people to cope with the stresses of life, realizes their ability, learn well, work well, and contribute to their communities productively. And it is an integral component of our overall wealth and a subcomponent of our mental well-being that underpins our individual and collective abilities to make decisions, build relationships, and shape the world we live in. Mental health, due to the way we discriminate in the context of Jamaica and frown upon it, even among our most vulnerable, the children that may be suffering, we would think that these persons do not have rights. But mental health is a basic human right, and it is crucial to personal, community, socioeconomic development. Mental health matters. Coming into college is a huge change that requires adaptation, that may exposes us to various things that we are not familiar with. Some may be pleasant and some we may perceive as not so pleasant. Globally, mental health has become a growing concern in universities, with an increasing number of our students experiencing psychological problems that is impacting their personal functioning and by extension, their academic functions and performance. There's a significant evidence that a large number of university students are troubled by mental challenges such as anxiety and depression. And this pattern is the same pattern that we identify in Jamaica over the years. Now, mental illness really, in more modern form, is represented along a continuum that goes from mental illness to mental wellness. However, we're going to go a bit deeper. According to the World Health Organization, wellness has two cardinal concerns, which are the achievement of individuals' fullest potential physically, psychologically, socially, spiritually, and economically, and carrying out individual expectation in family appropriately, as well as their place of worship. Now, wellness is not a static state, and it's not passive either. So it distinguishes itself from a mental illness in the concept that persons can have mental illness that they may be long-term, so they may have to deal with it for a lifetime. Wellness, on the other hand, is an active pursuit. In its purest form, wellness involves an individual assuming self-responsibility for our choices, behaviors, and lifestyle. It is important to acknowledge that wellness is heavily influenced by each individual physical, social, and cultural convictions or surrounding. Wellness is not the absence of a disease, illness, or life stressors. Instead, it is the presence of purpose in life, active involvement in satisfying work and social engagement, a healthy body and living environment, and holistic happiness. Now, it's often misunderstood that a lack of mental health automatically results in a lack of mental wellness, or good mental health is a reflection of good mental wellness, of mental wellness. This is not really true. Mental wellness is an internal positive resource that helps us to think, connect, and function. And as I've said before, it is an active process that helps to build resilience, growth, and help us to flourish. So we can readily identify the relevance of mental illness and mental wellness to be addressed when persons are entering college. Because if we are not mentally well, then when faced with the stressors that are naturally associated with college, then we may not be able to demonstrate resilience and show more adaptive coping mechanism. And so we may run the risk of even developing mental illness. Mental wellness is renewable and it's positive. Mental wellness is a process that we must engage in proactively. So we are not encouraged to be reactive in this state. We need to take conscious and deliberate steps to ensure that we are attending to our health in an holistic manner. As was mentioned before, mental health is a subcomponent of mental wellness. Mental wellness is a broader term that comprises many dimensions, including our cognitive facets as well as our emotional facets and our social facets. Now, it's common for persons to ask, so what's the difference? Mental health, mental wellness. No real difference. We use the word interchangeably sometimes. In reality, there are profound differences between these two states. Mental health reflects a pathogenic pathogenic conditions. It requires clinical care. It's generally associated with stigma. The subject may isolate themselves from others, as well as the community may isolate themselves from the individual. So let's take it into the university context. Here at the Mico University College, we do not discriminate against our learners irrespective of race, mental health status, physical disabilities. No, we don't. So there's a high possibility, as in other universities locally and universities globally, that we may have students that enter our program with psychological impairment. For example, persons may be depressed or experiencing anxiety. We know the difference between mental health and mental wellness because one attracts stigma and isolation either from the subject to the environment or the environment to the subject for persons who are not really aware of mental illness or so socially inclined to embrace those persons. Now, mental illness, they're scientifically established. So we have specific diagnostic criteria and symptoms presentation that collectively requires a specific amount for it to be classified as a mental illness. It is an objective assessment that can be retested and reassessed with evidence-based instruments and established by clinicians who are competent to do so, right? So this is an objective measure. So we can measure someone being depressed. In Montego Bay, we get the same result. If the students are online and they are depressed, we get that. If they are in the physical space, we get the same thing once we're using evidence-based instruments. Or we're doing the assessment thoroughly as we do assessments here at the Mico. Now, this is in contrast to mental wellness. Mental wellness really requires self-care instead of clinical care, so proactive self-care. It is empowering. It doesn't attract a stigma. There's a shared sense of humanity and belonging, that camaraderie there. It doesn't foster persons trying to disassociate themselves from you. And at the core of mental wellness, it's that it is personal. So this is a highly subjective, right? It is subjective because you can't look at the person and prejudge that they are not experiencing mental wellness, even if, for example, they are depressed. It is not uncommon for us to see a person who has a mental illness, let's say depression, and they are experiencing a greater level of mental wellness than someone who is not clinically depressed. Because there are some persons that go around daily and they may frown on students or other persons that has a mental illness and they're aware of it, and they frown on them, believing that they are healthier than that person. But we know that there are persons who may have a mental illness, for example, depression, but they are living a fulsome life. They are surrounded by people who love them, people who they love, positive relationships. They are maximizing their pursuit to achieving their fullest potential, and they are really enjoying life, contributing meaningfully. They are not burdened like the persons who do not have a mental illness, but they may not have a mental illness, but they are sad. They are faced with a lot of stressors. They are uncomfortable with themselves. Some of the key constructs in knowing when a person has mental wellness is that the person feels good about themselves. They feel good about life. They are open to experiencing challenges that life comes with. But in those cases of adversity, these persons are prepared to demonstrate resilience. So it's not that they don't experience pressure, but they would have employed positive adaptive coping strategies that redound to their benefit. And as Jamaicans would say, you may see those persons bend, but you don't see them break. So that is how a mentally healthy person really function in the space, a mentally well person. Now, someone who is also experiencing psychological wellness, they have self-acceptance. Who I am is who I am in every facets of the word. They are not trying to be someone else. They are not trying to assume another identity. They are really not trying to fit in because they have made peace, so to speak, with who they are. They are embracing themselves just as they are, and they are working on whatever aspect of themselves that they see fit to work on. They are demonstrating a sense of personal agency, and this is critical when we come in the teaching and learning space. You know, so we can see there that a person who is truly demonstrating mental wellness or who has mental wellness, that person is really able to demonstrate more healthier functioning. It goes beyond simply just knowing who you are. You know who you are comfortable with that, and you are about to get your objective. So you are not pressured, so to speak, by falling in. So you won't come and trying to alter different aspects of yourself just to fit in with your friends or your colleagues in the space, right? And we know, as I've alluded to before, that mental health and wellness, they do coexist. When we think of mental wellness, though, I want to encourage for us to think broader. It includes our emotions, our psychological states, the relationships that we have, and our spiritual state. It also speaks to our existential state. Specific to persons entering university, there is evidence that persons entering university who are predisposed to certain negative experiences, be it personal or social or biological, in their earlier years, may be more at risk to developing a mental illness. These situations, though not limited to, includes adverse childhood experiences, maybe from low socioeconomic status, exposure to traumatic experiences, personal factors such as personality traits, persons who dominantly think negatively and they are low on conscientiousness. There is also the concept of sexual orientation, irrespective of the person's sexual orientation. Once there is something about the orientation that the person is not settled within themselves, then they are at risk for developing psychological disturbances. Some persons may also have genetic vulnerabilities, among other concerns. There is also low self-esteem or self-doubt. Self-doubt. It is not uncommon for a lot of us coming from various communities, and you want to make the best of yourself. You want to make your families and your communities proud. However, the journey that you are embarking on, though you have the requirement, there is some elements of doubt, maybe something that someone have told you in the past, you're not going to come to anything, or you can't do it, or you just tell yourself you're not good enough to finish university. So all these are problems that some persons entering university may take as their personal baggage, right? Other persons may have other underlying medical issues, dysfunctional thought patterns, skewed worldview, they may come to university, they show up, however, they display consistent lack of engagement in the process, both with learning and university life. And other persons may be poorly educated on mental health literacy. However, if you're faced with any of these challenges at our institution, you're not left to figure it out on your own. The guidance and counseling unit stands ready at all times to serve all our students, from simply having a negative emotions or disturbance or a thought about yourself, all the way up to psychological disorder or disorders. You can come in and speak to us, and we always stand ready to serve. Don't let the fear of what you think others may say let you not benefit from the resources that we have available for you to access. Now, there are some factors that promotes mental well-being. Many of us leave our community, come to university, not knowing anyone there. It is important for us to surround ourselves with strong, positive, supportive network, both on campus and externally. Now, it's a self-defeating coping strategy or self-defeating tactics to your own growth and development to come to university and surround yourself with the wrong crowd, or surround yourself in crowds that you really don't fit in terms of you may not think you look like them, or you have the financial status as they are, and that make you feel as if you are not accepted by those persons. That may be so, that may not be so. It is for you to work through whatever it is that you are facing and position yourself in an environment that promotes your growth, your development, and your well-being. We are lighting these topics this afternoon because we know that they are critical to your development. We know that if you are exposed to a mental illness, if you don't access or resources from trained professionals, then we know you may run the risk of putting your studies at risk, as well as your general health or even your life. There are several consequences to a lack of mental wellness among university students. It poses a risk to their physical health, financial health, their social health. They may experience strained relationship, decreased academic performances. This increases the likelihood for them to drop out, or persons may engage in risky behavior, and this may include substance misuse or other dysfunctional coping mechanisms. With that said, there are several habits that one can integrate, adopt, and practice that will promote, enhance mental well-being. In this presentation, I'll highlight 6. So, persons can build a healthy body and train their mind to reflect more positive inner being. So, persons may engage in various forms of exercise, swimming, dancing, whatever it is that you engage in, physical body workout, that will help you to get in a more healthier state and can promote more effective psychological functioning. Source, genuine connection, not rush into. If you're in a program, the program lasts for 4 years. You may not necessarily meet lifetime friends in the first semester or the second semester or even the first year. But if you are patient with yourself and with the system, then more than likely, if you are supposed to establish a genuine connection here, then that will happen. Do not force relationships. Sometimes we force relationships to our disadvantage. So sometimes let things that occurs naturally mainly flows naturally. Now, we encourage our students to be knowledgeable about different mindsets. In this presentation, we'll highlight both growth and fixed mindset. So for some persons, the course that you enroll to pursue may have content area that you don't feel that you are the best at. So for example, persons may think that they are better at math, but they may have some reading courses because the experience that you get here is comprehensive. So you may feel that, oh, I will not be able to master the theory subject because I'm more mathematically inclined. You're encouraged not to hold that mindset. Approach things with an open-mindedness and a willingness to learn. Embrace change and give yourself the flexibility to absorb new information as they come. You can learn, you can be exposed to similar material in the past and you did not grasp it for various reasons. And re-exposure to the material in a different setting using different instructional methodologies, then you realize that you can actually do this thing even if you have not demonstrated 100% mastery. We also encourage persons to engage in mindfulness. Mindfulness is a deep form of relaxation, to put it in its simplest form. Taking intentional steps to relax and give attention to the present, what is happening and what is it that you may be experiencing. So for example, if you're in a classroom and there's a lecture, it's common practice for some students to go on their cell phone, they're browsing the internet, they're texting, and during that process, you may find that you are receiving information during class time that does not serve your growth or development because it have a negative impact on you. Someone may be angry with you, you may get angry with someone. Those are all information that could have waited until you finish your lecture and then you could have addressed those issues at a later time. For example, mindfulness. We all consume meals mainly daily, generally daily, unless we are on some special diets. But I know many of us consume meals and we really, if someone is to ask us how it tastes or the texture of the food outside of pepper and salt, if they are not excessively pepper or very salt, or don't have enough salt, then we're not able to really give a description because we eat absent-mindedly, right? We are not giving attention. Our heart carries us daily. How many of us have ever taken the time to listen to our heartbeat, feel it, feel the sensations in our body, maybe walk on some stones or nature, feel the sensations on the bottom of our feet, just being aware of the present. We are reading a book and we can really just focus on what we are doing in that moment. Many persons coming into universities may struggle to set boundaries. Now, boundaries, these are not luxury. These are essential tools that both in your personal, academic, and professional life, these are the resources that you need to know time and place, when to draw for them, and how to use them effectively. It makes no sense you come to university, you pay all the fee, you may even be struggling to manage some of it, getting financial help, trying to forge your way. But because you're so heavily distracted around persons who may not really care for your well being, or they like your company to the extent that they are sacrificing their school time and want you to do the same, that you are not able to define clear boundaries when you study, when it's friend time, and when it's actually time for business. You need boundaries in order to function healthy. You need to know who you have to remove from your life and when, or who is it that you need to reach for. And all these things promote mental wellness, and things that promote mental wellness normally benefits in a person's mental health. You need to be able to listen to your body, connect with your mind, be able to identify when or if you are experiencing a total negative thought pattern for a prolonged period. Know the signs when your body is telling you, I'm not okay. Reach for help. If it's for your physical health, then you need to reach to our medical center. We have our nurse and doctors there that they're waiting to offer their services to you. Now, concerning mental health, then you can always reach out to us even before you start the program once you are registered students. So, being intentional learners, you're also encouraged to develop a structured pattern for how you go about your daily pursuit. Some semblance of routine sometimes ease the pressure, and you know when to change from it. All right? So we know that the things that we take to nourish our health and wellness, there can be some external things that we have to engage in as well as internal. Okay? So here, you're encouraged to play, learn and discover, engage in therapy where necessary, coaching and mentorship, meditation, and mindfulness. Collectively, these activities will help to promote growth and nourishment and rejuvenation. Resilience. Why is resilience important? Resilience is important because stress and challenges are natural parts of life. A person that is resilient, they are self-aware, they can recognize when pressure is causing problem, they have strategies to cope within the moment that they are exposed to the stressors, they take a positive outlook on things, they have confidence in their own abilities, and they make connections with other people. Now, as was mentioned before, resilience is one of the foundational construct of a person that is mentally well, that has good mental well-being. So strategies that one can use to build resilience includes be open to change and embrace change, counter negative thoughts. So most of us will experience negative thoughts. Some of them are intrusive thoughts, not that we are actively thinking about them, but they come. So we need to find a way to counter them with more reasonable thoughts, more logical thoughts. Find a sense of meaning and purpose. It is not uncommon for persons to come to university and they are enrolled in a program, but they are still wondering if it is the right program. Even if you are in that state, that does not mean you are without purpose. A good encourager for this is to make the best of what you have in the moment. And if in the future, then you have a conviction to change, then you may be able to explore those options. But do not self-sabotage to say that you want to be specifically clear. Building connections is very important. Learning from your experiences, this is an indispensable skill to master, both positive and negative experiences. We need to learn from them. Many studies have shown that the complications of stress have grown 2 times higher than what is considered safe. So here we're looking at stress, mental health, and wellness among college students. So consequently, stress does not exclude itself from university life and is often manifested through various challenges, which includes financial challenges, lack of social support, poor family relationship, loneliness, loss of face-to-face engagement, managing or maneuver in the online space for those who have lectures online, problems sleeping or eating, compounded by factors that a large percentage of our population is still dealing with some of the negative repercussions that we were exposed to during the pandemic. With that said, stress is described by some scholars as a necessary experience when we are exposed to the right degree of stress. So too little pressure. So just imagine you come in a class and they are teaching you things that you learned at high school. You're not under any pressure. Then you're likely to fall back, get loggy, and stop really paying attention, maybe sleeping. That's really inappropriate and not good for effective functioning to promote wellness or health. Now, excessive pressure, on the other hand, may result in persons becoming tense and demonstrating that they are really struggling. So we really need that middle ground, a good analogy to show us the benefit of stress, even in the university space. We know, like, for example, when you have athletes going out there to run, the real top athletes, when you know that they are in the race, for persons who run, persons, they will prepare. Even if they get nervous, they are not going to approach it by chance. So they are preparing. But if you know that all the competitors in the race, you run left them all the time, then you're likely to just maybe skip a few training days and become complacent. The next thing you know, when you go to the race, then you come last or third or a placement that if you had perceived that you would be exposed to reasonable level of stressor, you would do much better. Some of these points I've mentioned before, things that exposes us to stress in college. So the big change, entering university, loss of someone with whom we are close to. This is not uncommon for a student to lose their parents, siblings. Hope none of you have that experience throughout their university years. Some persons waste their time. Other persons, this include procrastination, disorganization, lack of interest, emotional exhaustion or burnt out, and unnecessary perfectionism, or they just let time goes by idly. Some of the strategies that we are encouraging to promote enhanced mental health and well-being are: surround yourself with positive people, reduce noise, engage in meditation, manage your time effectively, and try to take proactive steps to maintain wellness. Now, we often mention self-care and we throw the word around loosely, but the importance of self-care in our academic life and our psychological health and wellness cannot be overstated. Self-care refers to intentional activities and practices that one engage in to maintain and enhance their physical, mental, and emotional well-being. We encouraged that persons engage in holistic self-care, give attention to all aspects of your life. Do not reduce anything to insignificant, because collectively all the subcomponents come together to reflect the holistic you, and all the subcomponents contribute to your overall health in some way. Self-care is important because it helps to reduce stress and anxiety, improve general mental health, boost productivity, enhance relationship, increases self-awareness, and if you engage in appropriate self-care, it will most likely reduce some of the costs associated with taking corrective actions when we engage in poor self-care. Emotional self-care is also important, and train our mind positively, I love to say, and conquer our world. Attend to our spiritual self-care. Some persons may be religious and spiritual, others may be just spiritual. Give attention to all aspects of your life intentionally. Financial wellness. Now, many persons coming to school don't have the luxury of persons funding them. So they are trying to skillfully navigate this process while they are trying to pursue their academic goals. May seem difficult, but this goal is attainable. Some persons may have debt to pay off, but you are encouraged to learn about investment. Think outside the box of ways that you can earn money, small business that you might can do if you have a small startup. Watch out for recurring expenses that you may have. Budget and track what you are spending. Do not let others who are in greater financial standing than you tell you how to spend or make your budget for you, or you're trying to fit in, and so you overexert yourself in terms of finances. Critical to success at the university level and most levels of your life, as well as the professional level after graduation, is learners' capacity to advocate for themselves. Now, I've mentioned before that autonomy is an aspect of mental wellness. Self-advocacy is critical because there'll be situations in which you need to speak up for yourself. You need to stay informed and know how to get your information from credible source, where the resources are, how to access these resources. You're also responsible for knowing your rights. Like other organizations, universities have their rules and their standards. Find out persons who can support you. If it's those that are paid professionals to support students, or supportive communities or extracurricular groups that serves your interests. Develop good analytical and problem solving skills. Be self-aware and in tune with yourself and your needs, reaching out for help from others as needed. You're also supposed to take appropriate control of your own life, as self-determination is indispensable. With that said, though we encourage self-advocacy, you need to be mindful that there's a right and a wrong way to go about various challenges that you may face, or to express concerns that you may have, both with staff and your fellow students. Why is self-advocacy important? It's a form of self-empowerment. It really allows you to be in control of your reality. We know you can't control all the variables, but when you can advocate for yourself, you have some degree of control. You're not just sitting and watching things happen passively. You understand others' needs as well, and you learn to solve problems in a reasonable and practical way. And you are also promoting your own growth and development, and refining your personal qualities that will enable you to establish more healthier relationships or maintain those that already exist. So you're encouraged to take care of yourself, be optimistic, and practice gratitude. Always remember that there's an inextricable link between mental health, health, and wellness. Intellectual and cognitive wellness. This aspect of your wellness, you are encouraged to research in your own time and ensure that you nurture it and allow it to deliver the best of service to you in your academic pursuit. This component of wellness refers to knowledge acquisition and intellectual activity. When knowledge is acquired, it can be shared and used in developing one's potential to improve in personal growth and make society a much better place. Sound intellectual functioning helps to improve an individual's well-being, overall well-being, by influencing behaviors, especially transforming negative healthy habits into positive ones. So what this is saying in essence is that when you're functioning intellectually well, it helps to improve mental wellness, overall wellness, and it influences you to engage in behavior, especially behavior that will move you from a negative state to a flourishing state. And this is what we would like for each and every one of our students. The benefit of pursuing health and wellness is not limited to, but includes the following. It increases the prospect for enjoyment in life. It boosts one's ability to cope with stresses, enhances the individual's ability to achieve their goals, and better equip the subject to handle the demands of life. It also enables us to be better able to care for ourselves and others, while it helps us also to establish and maintain social connectedness and put forward ourselves in a more positive and acceptable manner while maintaining our individuality and promoting mental health as well as wellness. Now, mental health, self-care, or mental wellness should not be perceived as a luxury. They are things that we should strive to improve on. Self-care is a necessity. By prioritizing self-care, you can maximize your fullest potential and lead your best life. Make self-care a non-negotiable part of your daily functioning. Set appropriate boundaries. Take deliberate steps to promote your mental health and enhance your mental well-being. I want to thank each and every one of you for listening to this presentation, and I'm wishing you the very best in your academic pursuit and after graduation, your personal and professional endeavors.
Thank you so much, Miss Amelia Alexis, for what has been a truly illuminating and reassuring presentation. In fact, as you shared, the lyrics of a song that has kept me grounded and hopeful, kept, those lyrics were being replayed in my mind. A part of that song says, live a little and go and enjoy life. So it's so important, students, for all of us, in fact, to live a little, regardless of how hectic our schedules may become. It's important for you to guard your physical, mental, social, emotional, and spiritual well-being. In fact, as a student at the Mico, I used to go for long walks at Emancipation Park. I joined a church group. My colleagues and I would do our little group cooking on the blocks, and we'd laugh and chat. And when examinations were near, we always huddled, studied together, and prayed together. So I trust that you will find your family and you will immerse yourself in that family, that community, and power through on your journey. So rest, rejuvenate, and power through on this 4-year journey. And so I hope that 3 things will take you through, in fact: care, compassion, and connectedness. I must tell you that this afternoon, you're going to get an opportunity to meet the Guild of Students, and that is our student representational body that will also help you along this journey. But until then, I now invite Mr. Rodolphe Soel, our Vice President of Administration, to share a little bit on campus safety.
Good afternoon, students and colleagues.
Good afternoon, sir.
Welcome to another session in our orientation series. Campus safety is one of 11 areas of responsibility for the Office of Vice President Administration. Those who were in the seminar yesterday would have met me as I brought greetings and gave some updates and joined in extending welcome to you, and also spoke about those specific requirements of the student teacher. Today, we look at campus safety, and as I said, it's one of 11 responsibilities of the Office of Vice President Administration. We have prioritized the whole matter of a safe campus for students, safe campus for staff, and for our visitors. We have broadened the definition of safety. So we are concerned as part of campus safety about the security of person and property. We are concerned about hazard control because we do use, we have gas sources and so on that we have to utilize on the campus. And of course, emergency management. So those three elements represent the scope of campus safety activities. I want to start with security. So security is managed through the Office of Vice President Administration, but the operations itself is actually contracted out to a security company. The current company that has the contract is Quest Security Services. Our decisions are based on risk assessment. I just want to pause a little here because there are times when persons in the community think that there should be far more restrictions. We do not want to have restrictions to the extent that we feel as if we are in a prison. What we want to be able to do is to ensure your safety while you're able to move around freely and in a very comfortable environment. So we do our risk assessment. Again, there are elements of security which you do not share in the public domain. And what do I mean by risk assessment? We constantly look at vulnerabilities. We look at our history of incidents. We look at frequency of incidents. We look at our response mechanism. And so I often say that I've been employed here for 36 years. I've been serving as VP now for 8. And I am regarding the Mico campus as a safe place. We have had isolated incidents, but it's a safe place. Our major area of concern is actually the road on which the campus is located. It's the Marasco Road, highly developed area, but a long thoroughfare which often gets lonely. And we're going to talk about that later in the presentation. So whatever decisions we make with regards to security operations, it's based on risk assessment. If we decide that we are not checking vehicles coming in, it's because of our assessment. If we feel that we don't necessitate the showing of ID at certain times, it's because of the risk assessment. So we constantly do that monitoring. The campus security officers who are engaged through Quest at the moment have certain responsibilities. We hold them to these responsibilities to ensure safety. One of them is to monitor the entry and exit points. And I'm a very open, transparent person here now. At the moment, we do not carry out a very strict monitoring, again, based on the assessment. Since COVID, we have not gone back to reissuing vehicle passes, as happened at some other institutions. But we do assess, and where we think we are becoming vulnerable, we have the right to enforce that. So we could reach a point where we say, okay, all students and staff must show ID. For the moment, we are not doing that, again, because of our assessment. But their responsibility is to monitor the entry and exit points, using intelligence, observing, and also enforcing according to the policies set by the administration of the institution. They patrol, and in fact, as in terms of the deployment of officers, there are a number of them that have the specific duty to patrol the premises. They are the ones who we expect to identify and apprehend any individual who is considered a threat to the safety of the University College community. They are like our local police. We are not encouraging individuals to do that for themselves, right? Because they are the ones who are trained accordingly. They have the legal right to do this apprehending up to a certain point, and so that's their responsibility. They are to enforce protocols that are in place. So if, for example, at a library, we ensure that students cannot go in unless you show an ID, unless you come up as a registered student, whatever is the protocol, they have a responsibility to enforce that. I just want to say to you that Certainly at Mico, as a tertiary institution, and you know my bias as a teacher education institution, we don't disrespect SICI. We don't bother with that. The security officers are members of our community. They show us tremendous respect. We show them respect and we work together. It's not SICI who is holding a low-level job and becomes, the joke, the butt of joke and laughing stock. We don't do that here. So wherever we are having challenges with their enforcement, then we do report those to the University College administration, and we will deal with those matters. So those are the specific roles of the security officers that are employed through the contracted company. There is support. We have canine patrols at nights in certain areas. We have a camera surveillance system, and I hasten to say in public spaces. We are not infringing on the rights of anybody. Everything we're doing is legal and it's in the public spaces. All right. It's a network. It is monitored from various locations. We do have storage and recording facilities. And so that is a part of the support for the system internally. We do have a few places with electronic access, high-risk areas, and that's another thing that goes in. Not all classrooms per se, but some of our offices and so on that are high risk, we do introduce electronic access in support of the operations of our security officers. We do also have external support. The company we engage, and whichever company we engage in the future, has what is called a rapid response team, deployed and patrolling in such a way that they can respond to an incident on the campus in a few minutes. So that is a support we have, somewhat external, though connected to the contracted company in terms of executing security. We also enjoy an excellent relationship with the Jamaica Constabulary Force, and specifically through the Crossroads Police Station. So we have numbers to call them. We tend to have a contact with whoever is the head of that station. We also have contact at Area 4 headquarters. So when sometimes things get a little difficult on the Marisco Road, we know who to call in Area 4 headquarters, and they know what to do. So we do have that sort of external support as well. Again, I'm saying to you that we put these in to ensure that we are safe, but our records really do not show, a lot of incidents and, a lot of activity in regards to security problems. Your role, very important in this whole process. One of the things we ask you to do, in as much as we are a family and we try to conduct ourselves that way, we try to build a family ethos. You're going to be working with students within your own departments, within your own units, on the halls together, in the houses, on the same teams. We have all of that. But you and I know that in any closed group, there can be persons who lack the integrity. And so one of the things we say to you, be careful. Always secure your valuables. All right? Please. Another thing is to maintain an awareness of your surroundings. Someone may come in under the pretense to be doing business and could have other motives. So as an individual, we're not saying that you should stress yourself out, but you should be very much aware. And if something looks out of the norm, if you get an uneasy feeling, move to a safer location, report to the officer or the college administrators. One of the things we know with young people, there are times when they like to meet in isolated places. You have to be very careful about that. You have to balance pleasure seeking with security consideration. All right. So I'm just warning you on that one. Be very careful where that is concerned. Someone, even another student, could have a visitor. There are always that sort of network and connection, which can create a problem for you. Be extra vigilant when we have special events. When we have like a graduation, we perhaps have, 2,000 people on the campus. And so at those times, you have to be extra vigilant as you traverse the area. So those are some very specific roles we're asking you to play as you contribute to your own security. cooperate with the security officers. I made the tab below that as a tertiary institution, we can't be treating these people anyhow. If they are enforcing the protocols, you don't curse them. If you have a challenge with the protocol, speak to your guild of students, your representatives. They will make a representation. If they think something is too onerous, if they think it's not necessary at that point, we have that conversation. But at no time should you be abusive to the security officers, all right? Because they have a job to do. If you are requested to show your ID, show it. If you're asked to give your name, if you're entering the premises or a building, please do that. If you go to a building and it's required that you sign in or out, please do that. And what I'm suggesting here is that you have diversity in the protocols depending on the risk area and our assessment of certain areas. So please cooperate with them. And where we have any seminars on the halls of residence, for example, they'll bring in speakers. Anytime we have these matters dealing with security, we're saying that you have a responsibility to participate so that you can be made more aware of what to do. So that is the whole matter of security. Hazard control. We have electrical power on the campus. We have liquid petroleum gas distributed. We have high pressure water systems. We have a network of roadways. You know, we have different hazards that can come up, drainage and so on. So the estate management department is charged with the responsibility to constantly observe and to identify sources of potential injury to persons using the campus. They are supposed to take steps to remove those hazards where they can, or to mitigate the effect where that is the better option at the time. We're over saying to you that sometimes things can shift, things can happen. And we do ask our community members that where you observe any hazard, a drain cover has been removed. I have had the experience in my time here that people have been malicious. People have removed drain covers. I had an incident recently, well, that's so recently, maybe about a year ago, where a particular drain cover was removed and set almost like a trap. It's the first and only one I've seen in my 8 years, and someone fell in. So what we're saying, if you observe something, please report it, in as much as we charge the estate management department to do this kind of monitoring. Mico prides itself in strong student leadership. We have been doing well so far. I have no doubt that we'll continue. And one of the things your guild of students often do is to bring these matters to our attention. Emergency management. There is a health, safety, and security committee that has the responsibility to organize the drill and to manage emergencies. In fact, the Education Code of Regulation mandates this. In a context like ours, though, there are some challenges. So one of the things we ensure is that the emergency drill is mandatory in the halls of residence. So when you come in during that orientation on the hall, there will be a drill in which you will participate, because that is when, you know, at nights people are sleeping and what can happen. On the major campus, the strategy we try to use is to issue bulletins and guidelines, including videos and so on, relating to how you respond. Respond to an earthquake, for example, or fire. For hurricane, we have a standing management group and we have our methodology in terms of response. So that is taken care of. We have more work to do, of course. Some years ago, we trained a number of first responders among staff and students. Those people have left us now. So one of the tasks we have for this year is to train some more first responders on the campus to assist in the network of emergency management. Just some additional notes when traveling off campus, because in fact, 60 to 65% of our students, I think this year is going to be a little higher, maybe 65 to 70% of our students are going to be commuting students. And so the traveling to and from is very important. I mentioned the Marasco Road, which is a long stretch. There are times when it's extremely busy with vehicular traffic and pedestrians. There are times when it gets lonely. But just bear these in mind for us, because my experience is that most of the incidents we have had, including our stakeholders, take place on the road. Please, I know you respect your privacy, or you expect others to respect your privacy, and you value it, but always ensure that someone know where you will be, when you expect to be back, and so on. So if you're in the hall of residence and you're leaving, at least confide in even one person to know where you're going and what time you expect to be back. If you're traveling to and from school, please ensure that someone knows when to check on you or can figure out if something has gone wrong or you have not checked in within a particular period of time. We are asking you to do that. If you're taking our taxi cabs and it's a busy roadway with a lot of route taxis and so on, note license plate number, color, make of vehicle before, make of vehicle if possible, if you can make that out, right? Before you board a taxi or a private bus. And certainly, one of the things you need to do with that information is to text it to somebody. Simple operation, right? Let someone you know, trust know when you board a taxi, contact him or her from the taxi or the bus if anything seems unusual. All right. If you need to walk from the Errol Miller Hall, now the Errol Miller Hall is the hall of residence for female students located at 60 Arnold Road. Perhaps about a 10-minute walk. We do provide a shuttle service in the morning in time for the 8 o'clock class, right after the 4, at somewhere around 4, between 4 and 5, and we do another shuttle in the evenings after 8 o'clock class, and in this case, the shuttle goes via Crossroads, so commuting students can use that shuttle to Crossroads. But sometimes your schedule will be such that it's really could be a waste of time coming over at 8 when you perhaps have a class at 1 o'clock. There are also taxis running between the areas, but if you have to walk, then please do so in a group. The community is not bad, not many incidents. I know if guild members know of things that I don't know about, down Mariska Road, Connelly Avenue across, people walk all the time. But again, there can be isolated incidents, so we ask you to walk in groups. And then keep your valuables, including your cell phone, out of sight when walking along the roadways. A couple of years ago, I engaged someone from the safety and security unit of the constabulary to do a little reconnaissance on Mariska Road. And when he mentioned the number of persons who walked past him at a particular location with their cell phone that he could just reach out and grab. And so this is something we have to do. We need to ensure that our valuables, including the phones, are kept out of sight. All right, and I'm warning you, particularly on Mariska Road. All right, it doesn't happen continuously, but from time to time there's a season. When the season comes up, we kind of make certain contacts and we quell it, but then people come back again. All right, so these are some of the things we want you to note. Telephone numbers. Remember, you as a student, you have the right to call the police if that incident occurs. You can go through our security, you can do the necessary incident report, but you have that right. You know the general emergency number. I've also now displayed the number for the Crossroads Police Station. And the other number there is a cellular number, CUG, for the Campus Security Supervisor. I want you to screenshot this particular page so that you can remember those if something happens. Again, most times the incidents go through our security personnel. We do the incident report, but you have a right to go to the police. So these are some contacts. Email addresses. If there's a matter which you think needs to go to the estate management department, hazards and so on, this emd@mico.edu.jm. Any other matter or any matter for that, in this case, you can always email my office, vp-admin@mico.edu.jm. You're assured of a very quick response. I'm a very efficient administrative assistant, and we monitor these emails. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, students, as you come in, again, we do our constant risk assessment. We do not enforce rules that are not necessary at the time. Not everybody will agree with the approach we take, but we have been doing very well. And at times, we'll have to step up based on the situation. So welcome again to Mico, and your safety is a priority for us. Good evening.
Thank you so much, Mr. Swell, for your presentation. It is certainly comforting to know that you and your team have managed to implement a comprehensive suite of security measures. We trust that our students will take heed. Remember, safety is our collective responsibility. So we hope that you will observe the safety protocols. At this time, we are winding down very nicely. And I'm going to invite Miss Tyra Campbell, who serves as the interim executive secretary of the Guild of Students. She will be introducing some of their representatives, I hope, so you can see some faces. And you can contact those persons whenever you're in doubt, whenever you need some assistance, some support along the way of this journey. You may take over, Miss Campbell. Good to have you, good to see you, and I know you'll take great care of our incoming students.
Thank you so much, Dr. Williams-Pinnock. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I trust you enjoyed a restful and rewarding summer period, and I must congratulate you all on becoming members of the Miconian family. This is an institution where tradition meets excellence. Let me present for you. Presentation quickly. All right. So it is my honor and privilege this evening to introduce to you the Mico University College Guild of Students, more specifically, the Mico University College Guild Council for the academic year 2025 to 2026. This council is guided by our proud motto, students' representation is our satisfaction. As stated earlier, my name is Tara Campbell, and it is with great pride that I welcome you to this moment of purpose, unity, and promise. Now take a look on your screen. Let me introduce to you our very own Guild President, Mr. Richard Forrester. Mr. Forrester is a proud fourth-year student who specializes in computer science, and he will lead with energy, vision, and care for our Miconian family. He brings to you greetings, and he wishes to inform you, first-year students, that as you begin this new chapter, it is important to know that the Student Guild is here to represent and support you. Our role is simple but vital: to advocate for students and ensure that your voice is part of the decisions that shape your college experience. Whether it's academic concerns, student welfare, or broader campus issues, the Guild works to make sure students are heard and treated fairly. We look forward to working with you, standing up for you, and building a stronger student community together. He wishes you a strong and meaningful academic year. Now, at the Mico University College, student governance is built on democracy, and this means that your voices matter. All right? And from the very first moment that you were registered and you became students, when I was registered and became a student, we became members of the Guild of Students. So the executive committee of the Guild of Students is referred to as the Guild Council Committee. And the Guild Council works alongside with other student leaders who are chosen by us, the students, during elections that are held twice a year. First in the general election, and then later on in the by-election through a secret ballot. And this process ensures that there is confidentiality and fairness. The Guild exists, of course, to represent you, to support you, and make sure that your university life is exciting and rewarding. Think of it as your chance to get involved, to grow as a person, and to be part of a community that goes beyond just academics. As mentioned earlier, the council is made up of elected student representatives, each with a specific role, but we're all united by one purpose. What is our motto? Students' representation is our satisfaction. So of course, we are here to serve and to represent the student body. Now, the Guild President is the Council's leader and students' voice. He works alongside the university's administration and academic boards to address campus concerns. They advocate for students' welfare, security, academics, and provide leadership and vision for Guild programs. Working alongside the president are the vice presidents, who usually oversee various aspects of student life. This includes administration, student services, academics, and special projects, among others. They manage Guild operations and govern other offices on the Guild Council, where they will work with the college's administration and faculties to address your academic concerns, improve teaching and learning, as well as to ensure that your voices are heard. Now let's continue to look at the arm of the Guild. We mentioned earlier the Guild President, who is supported by the two vice presidents, and alongside these persons is the Executive Secretary. Now the Executive Secretary is responsible for handling correspondence for smooth operations within the Guild, among other responsibilities. The Director of Finance oversees the budgeting, accounting, and financial reporting to ensure that there is proper fund management. Our spiritual coordinator organizes spiritual activities, mentorship, and promotes moral and ethical growth. Our communication and technology director is here to manage internal and external communications and maintain technological systems. Here, we also have our director of sports, who plans, coordinates, and supervises sports events and athletic programs. Two, we also have the Commissioner of External Relations, who helps to build and maintain relationships with partners who are outside of the school community or guild. We also have those who support these people or help to assist, and that includes our Deputy Executive Secretary, Deputy Director of Finance, Assistant Spiritual Coordinator, Deputy Communications and Technology Director, Deputy Director of Clubs and Societies, Deputy Director of Sports, Deputy Commissioner of External Relations, and Deputy Director of Entertainment. Of our multiple faculties, we have representatives, and therefore we have representatives for the Faculty of Science and Technology, for the Faculty of Humanities and Liberal Arts, as well as for the Faculty of Education. We dare not leave out the representative for the School of Continuing Studies. Working alongside these persons or other persons who are part of the arm of the Guild include the year batch representatives for first, second, and third, as well as fourth year students. Our batch representatives include the batch president, as well as the lady representative. We have 5 houses at the Mico, which you may know of, including Lushington, Buxton, Rogers, Arthur Grant, and Bishop, and each of these houses have a house captain as well as an assistant house captain. For those who will be residing on a house, you have someone who is able to represent you more directly. For females, your representative is the chairlady or the assistant and the assistant chairlady for the Era Miller Hall. And males, your representative will be a chairman and assistant chairman for either the John James Mills Hall and or the Glen Owen Hall. Right. Why is it that this Guild Council matters? What is it that this Guild Council does? We stated a few of these earlier, but we're going to go into a little more detail. All right, so we mentioned earlier that we as a Guild Council represents you, the Guild of Students. We are the bridge between the students and the administration. And if it is that students have issues like security, academic stress, or hall concerns, the Guild Council will raise these directly to the university's leaders. We also advocate for you. We stand up for students' rights, whether it's about campus facilities, students' welfare, or academic issues. We want to make your college experience vibrant as well. And so we organize events, social activities, and projects that make student life more vibrant. We also participate in decision-making process, especially your guild president, as he sits in unofficial university committees, which means that students have a say in how policies are shaped. Let us go through the election process. How do you choose your representatives? First, students are nominated by their peers or lecturers. This ensures that they're recognized as capable individuals of serving you, representing you, being your voice. After the nomination period, and once it is approved, persons can go on to the next stage of the election process, which is the campaign stage. Persons are allowed to create other social materials and begin their campaigns. The third stage of the election process includes speeches and debates, where candidates will present their visions and plans to the student bodies and engage in speeches and debates to showcase their unique leadership. At the end of it all, you've guessed it, it is the election process. I am letting you know that you have the right as a student to vote. And as I mentioned earlier, we have secret ballots that allows for fairness within the election process. Please do note as well that this process is not just about picking leaders, but it's about student democracy in action, and it ensures that people who represent you are chosen by you based on their vision and their abilities to serve. Now let us meet our current Guild of Students, or Guild Council rather. This includes those who are elected as well as those who are interim members. And interim members refer to those individuals who are in temporary office positions and who will be appointed to serve until a permanent election or appointment is made. So, as I mentioned earlier, your Guild President is Mr. Richard Forster. The Guild Senior Lady, also known as the Vice President of, excuse me for a moment. I hope I'm being heard. Had some challenges earlier. As I was saying, Side, your Guild President is your current Guild Senior Lady, also known as the Madam Senior Lady, Ms. Cavell Williams. The official name of this position is the Vice President of Academic Affairs and Special Projects. The other Guild President is Guild Vice President, is Mr. Sean Thomas, who is the Vice President of Student Services and Communications. Your interim executive secretary is yours truly, myself, Tara Campbell. Director of Finance interim is Mr. Alexandre Ferguson. You met him earlier. Your spiritual coordinator, Mr. Joel Stewart. The Communications and Technology Director, Mr. Kimani Jagin. The Director of Sports, Mr. Quentin McLean. The Commissioner of External Relations, Ms. Kirsten Bowen. Director of Entertainment interim, Mr. Chad Norris. Our Director of Clubs and Societies is Ms. Kaylan Hibbert. The Deputy Executive Secretary is Mr. Chad Rooms. The Assistant Spiritual Coordinator is Mr. Gavin Clark. The Deputy Commissioner of External Relations is Ms. Monique Mitchell. The Deputy Director of Entertainment is Mr. Rashida Rose. The Deputy Director of Clubs and Societies is Mr. Mr. Richard Davis, excuse me. The representative for the Faculty of Science and Technology is Mr. Jamario Crombie. Our Faculty of Humanities and Liberal Arts representative is Ms. Kaylee Smith. The Faculty of Education representative is Ms. Moya Dennis. Our second year batch president is Mr. Armani Rule. The second-year lady representative is Mrs. Beyonce Brown Chusney. Third-year batch president is Mr. Siobhan Lichmore, who works alongside a third-year lady representative, Miss Chrisanne Lovelace. The Rogers House Captain, Mr. Javon Gooden. Assistant Rogers House Captain, Miss Kenya Aline Chambers. Lushington House Captain Interim is Miss Cheyenne Smith. The Buxton House Captain Interim is Mr. Sean D. Gale. Arthur Grant's House Captain, Mr. Vinrick Lennon. And not least, but last here on this list for now is the Bishop House Captain, Mr. Josh Brown. Now, why get involved? Why should I care about the guild? I'm sure you already know the answer because it is simple. You are already a member of the Guild of Students from the moment you entered the Mico, from the moment you're registered. And as I stated earlier, you have the right to vote, and your voice and opinions are relevant. It's important that you participate in everything that the Guild does. It also means that you have the opportunity to develop leadership skills, network with your peers and professionals, and leave a lasting mark on the institution. Getting involved with the Guild, whether by attending events, serving on committees, or even running for office, allows you to take control of your student experience and shape the Mico community for yourself and others. I'm hoping to see you participate in our Guild by-election, which will be coming soon. But until then, thank you so much for your attention, and I wish for you a wonderful evening.
Thank you so much, Ms. Campbell. I am immensely proud of you and your colleagues. You know, it takes courage. It takes courage to serve, to lead. So thank you so much for introducing us to the students who will be serving us this academic year. We certainly hope that our new students, once they get to their second year of study, will consider vying for an official position on the Guild Council so that they can sharpen their leadership skills and certainly make positive contributions to campus life. Student representation is indeed the Guild's satisfaction. So I hope you find it gratifying to serve and to impact and transform lives. We are almost at the end of this evening's orientation session. We have coming up a number of announcements from Mrs. Joy Baker Gibson, or Dean of the Faculty of Science and Technology. So at this time, I'm going to welcome her to share, I'm sure, some insightful information with you.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Williams-Pinnock. Good evening, everyone. And may I just add my own congratulations to you as you join the Mico family and as you embark on this new journey. I have sat and I've listened to a number of queries that you would have had as new students to the Mico, and I really want to help you to settle in and to alleviate some of the concerns that you have. And so I will be just sharing with you some information about our orientation within the Faculty of Science and Technology. And I can guarantee you that the Faculty of Education and the Faculty of Humanities and Liberal Arts, they too will be sharing during the course of next week with you their orientation schedule. So within the Faculty of Science and Technology, we have predominantly 5 departments. That's Computer Studies, Industrial Technology, Human Ecology and Hospitality Services, Mathematics, and we have the Natural Sciences. So we're going to be having some orientation sessions with you just to share about the courses that you need to register for the semester, the courses that you need to select. Some of you are not too sure what is it that you will be doing. I know that within your WhatsApp groups, the information would have been shared, but those persons who have joined lately, you have some concerns. So the HOD is the head of department. They really want to ensure that you're comfortable and they really want to walk you through the process. So I'm going to ask you if it is possible for you to just scan this QR code. It contains the schedule for the respective departments, and I'm going to share the schedule with you. So if you scan and open, you will see the different departments, the times that they will have their sessions, and I really want you to share with your friends and to follow as well. So go ahead and scan. And if you should open, it takes you to this schedule that is here. All right, so the schedule, on the schedule, we have the day of orientation. It's either going to be Monday or Tuesday. We have the meeting credentials. It's going to be virtual. And then you have the WhatsApp contact for each department. Just in case you're not getting through, you may, reach out using those numbers. You can WhatsApp and to find out what is happening. So for computer studies at 5 p.m. on Monday, they will have their session. Also, we have human ecology and hospitality services. They will be conducting their orientation that time. They begin at 4 p.m. And also natural sciences on Monday at 5 p.m. So those of you who are in those respective departments, please note the time and ensure that you have the meeting credentials. Industrial technology will be Tuesday at 5 p.m. And for the mathematics department, that will be Tuesday at 5 p.m. as well. So go ahead and scan. If it is that you cannot scan, you can use your phones to take a picture to get the information so that you can be a part of those sessions. It's quite critical that you go to these sessions so that the information about the timetable, and if you have any other questions that you really want to raise at that point in time, you can also share it in those forums that you will attend. All right, so outside of the orientation schedule, I just want to share a little about the process for those of you who would have received your STEM scholarship. Once you have received your acceptance letter to the Mico, the next step is for you to apply for the STEM scholarship. Once you have submitted your application, the respective departments will schedule their interviews. You will be informed about the date of the interviews. Those are done predominantly online as well. And so you go and you complete your interviews. After the interviews are completed, within 2 to 3 days, you should be in receipt of your acceptance letter for the scholarship. Once you have received that letter, we're going to be going through another process, the final process. The Ministry of Finance will now engage you in what is called a bond signing arrangement. And so that takes place within the last week of September. You'll be notified once you are qualified for the scholarship. You will get all the details. Once you begin the Mico, you'll be informed as per department, you'll be informed as a faculty, and we will take you through the entire process for the bond signing arrangement. What you need to begin to think about are those persons, the guarantors. You have to find 3 guarantors. So begin to think about those persons that you're going to be asking to be guarantors for your scholarship and have them ready. There are some documents as well that are going to be required. We will inform you so you can share those information. So that's it in a nutshell from the Faculty of Science and Technology. Again, I ask that you scan the QR code. For the last time, I'm going to share it for a few minutes, and then you will get the orientation schedule. If you belong to other faculties, if it's education or humanities, the information will be communicated to you as to when the orientation will take place in those faculties. So thank you so much, and do have a productive time at the Mico. Looking forward to meeting all of you. Thank you.
We certainly appreciate the information that you have shared, Mrs. Joy Baker Gibson. Thank you so much. Again, I encourage our students to join the departmental sessions so that you can access additional information and be able to successfully navigate this semester and beyond. We have some final announcements coming up from Mr. Nicholas Brown. Mr. Brown is the supervisor of the Student Services Department. Mr. Brown, are you there? All right.
Yes,
Thank you,
yes,
Mr.
I'm here.
Brown. You can go ahead.
Okay, good afternoon again, students. I trust that you had a great time this evening and that you had learned something from the presenters, right? Just a quick announcement from Department of Student Services. All right, so in preparation for the face-to-face orientation, which is scheduled for Friday, September the 5th, you are required to be on campus inside the Eli Matalan Gymnasium by 8 o'clock sharp, right? Prior to coming on campus, you are required to complete a registration form so we can make the necessary provision for you. Now, the form will be shared with you tomorrow, between this evening to tomorrow, right? And you will have up until Sunday, that's the 31st of August, to complete the form. Also, we will have our orientation sponsors that will be a part of the orientation activity for the face-to-face session. And we will be inviting the JTA Credit Union to come on campus. We will have Infinity Credit Union. Those of you would know them as Educom before the name change. We will have FHC, Cooperative Credit Union. We will have the Passport Immigration and Citizenship Agency as well. So for those of you who you don't have a passport as yet, the opportunity will be there. We will be having also work and travel agencies. So for those of you who are interested in working during the summer overseas, you will have that opportunity as well. We will also be inviting the Jamaica National Bank, right? So you will be able to, if you don't have a bank card as yet, the opportunity will be there as well. We will be inviting the Office of the Registrar General, NAIRA, formerly known as RGD. We will have food sponsors in the space as well. Yummy Bakery will be here. Salada Food will be here as well, right? And they'll be doing sampling and giveaway. We will also have Digicel in the space. And to wrap up things, we will be having a social session, and this session will be sponsored by the LASCO Jamaica. So again, I'm looking forward to your timely response in completing the form once it is shared with you. And if you have any question or concern, feel free to email us at Student Services email. Over to you, moderator.
Thank you so much, Mr. Brown. You and your team certainly have a scintillating lineup for us next week. I am definitely looking forward to the delectable fares that will be on offering. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, we are at the end of this evening's orientation session. I must thank Mr. Joel Stewart, who led us during the devotional exercise and who reminded us that we should trust in the Lord, we should lean on his understanding. I must also applaud Miss Amelia Alexis, who has told us again, we have heard it, but we have been told again, that health is wealth. So take care of yourselves, rest, rejuvenate, so you can power through this journey. Thanks as well to our Vice President of Administration, Mr. Rudolph Sewell, who told us about the safety and security measures that are in place. Safety is our priority here at the Mico University College, and so we hope to keep you safe for all your years with us. I also applaud Mrs. Joy Baker Gibson, who shared insightful information on the departmental sessions that I trust you will attend so you can access additional information. And thanks again, Mr. Nicholas Brown, or supervisor of the Student Services Department, we are looking forward to the planned activities. Before you leave, I wish to share 3 powerful quotes with you. The first says that your life does get better by your life does not, I repeat, your life does not get better by chance. It gets better by change. And you are on that journey to change, to becoming a competent and confident educator and leader. The next one says that you should find joy in your journey. So enjoy this journey. Yes, there will be days that will be quite overwhelming, days that will be anxiety inducing, but enjoy it all. Build lasting relationships and networks with your colleagues. Those will serve you well in the future. And the last powerful statement that I must share is that the best way to predict your future is to create it. And so you are creating a future of wealth. I claim that for you, a future of excellence, a future of impact. Again, welcome to the Mico University College, and we look forward to supporting you on this journey as you do it with thy might. Enjoy the rest of your evening.